Listen up, because your wallet is about to take a hit, but honestly, it's going to be for a great cause. We've got some absolutely insane deals happening on Steam at this exact moment, with prices slashed by up to 90% off. If you've been waiting to clear out your wish list or just looking for something fresh to sink your teeth into without breaking the bank, this is the week to do it. We've tracked down 10 of the absolute best discounts running for a limited time, ranging from massive strategy epics to some of the finest action and horror games ever made. I'm Josh, and today on this video, we are counting down the top 10 massive Steam sales you need to grab right now. Let's get started off with number 10. Starting off at number 10, we've got a strategy game that is so massive, it'll basically consume your entire life if you let it. Total War Warhammer III is currently sitting at a whopping 85% off, bringing the price all the way down to a measly $8.99. If you ask me, that is an absolute steal for the sheer volume of content packed into this thing. We are talking about the grand culmination of a massive trilogy that blends deep, turn-based empire management with real-time tactical battles featuring thousands of units clashing on screen. You get to command crazy fantasy factions, unleash devastating magic, and navigate a truly brutal campaign map. It's dense, it's complex, and it can be intimidating as hell at first, but once the mechanics click, you're basically a goner. Getting hundreds of hours of tactical goodness for under $10 is just wild. Next at number 9, we have the indie co-op phenomenon that completely took over the internet, and it's currently discounted by 35%, dropping it to just $6.49. Lethal Company is brilliant because it's dumb in a good way, mixing genuine horror with some of the funniest multiplayer moments you'll ever experience with your friends. The setup is simple. You're a contract worker for the company, and your job is to collect scrap from abandoned, industrialized moons to meet a profit quota. The catch is that these places are crawling with horrific, bizarre monsters, and the proximity voice chat means you will hear your buddy's voice echo down a dark corridor before it's abruptly cut short by a scream. It's chaotic, stressful, and a hell of a lot of fun, making it an absolute must-own at this price if you have a crew to play with. And number 8, it is the ultimate underwater survival game that is equal parts beautiful paradise and terrifying nightmare fuel. Subnautica is enjoying a massive 75% off sale, putting it at a sweet $7.49. You crash land on an alien ocean planet, and you have to survive by gathering resources, building underwater bases, and crafting increasingly high-tech submarines to explore the deeper trenches. The progression loop here is just fantastic, guiding you from catching small fish to breathe and eat, all the way to discovering massive ancient secrets hidden kilometers beneath the surface. But let's be totally honest for a second. When the sun goes down and you find yourself in pitch-black open water, hearing a distant leviathan roar, this game turns into a straight-up psychological horror experience. For under $8, it's a masterclass in atmospheric exploration that you absolutely cannot miss. Now at number 7, we have what many people consider to be one of the greatest video games ever made, period. Rockstar's masterpiece, Red Dead Redemption 2, is currently sitting at 75% off, which means you can pick up this generational epic for just $14.99. If you haven't played Arthur Morgan's story yet, I don't even know what you're doing with your life, but now you officially have no excuse. The level of detail in this open world is still completely unmatched, from the realistic horse physics to the way the environment reacts to every single little thing you do. You get a massive, heartbreaking story about the fading days of the Wild West outlaw era, mixed with endless hours of hunting, bounty collecting, and just riding through gorgeous landscapes. Spending $15 for a premium AAA experience that can easily last you over 100 hours is the definition of a no-brainer. Moving on to number 6, we are diving deep into the realm of pure, unadulterated terror with the Outlast Trials, which is currently on sale for a massive 70% off at $11.99. Now, the original Outlast games were strictly single-player, terrifying hallway simulators, but this one flips the script by turning the Cold War asylum experiments into a cooperative survival horror gauntlet. You and up to 3 friends are forced to complete sickening, puzzle-heavy trials while dodging grotesque, mutant enemies who want nothing more than to tear you limb from limb. It's intense, gory, and in all seriousness, it features some of the best level design and dark atmosphere Red Barrels has ever whipped up. Playing it solo is an absolute nightmare, but playing it with friends creates this beautiful mix of panic and hilarity that makes $11.99 feel like a complete bargain. Coming in at number 5, we've got the game that successfully convinced the entire world to fall in love with a stray orange cat in a cyberpunk dystopia. Stray is discounted by 50% right now, landing at a clean $14.99. You play as a literal cat trying to navigate a long-forgotten cyber city populated entirely by quirky robots and dangerous, flesh-eating bacteria. What makes this game so special is how perfectly the developers nailed the cat mechanics, allowing you to scratch couches, meow on command, curl up for a nap, and knock random items off tables just to be a jerk. Beyond the novelty of being a feline, the environment tells a genuinely moving story with an incredible synth soundtrack that perfectly captures that lonely, neon-soaked vibe. It's a tight, incredibly memorable adventure that's well worth $15. At number 4, we are throwing it back to a modern classic that still holds up incredibly well today, especially when it's priced at 75% off for just $7.49. BioShock Infinite takes you out of the dark, leaky corridors of Rapture and launches you straight into Columbia, a gorgeous, brightly lit city floating high above the clouds. You play as Booker DeWitt on a mission to rescue a mysterious girl named Elizabeth, and the chemistry between these two characters is really the emotional anchor of the entire ride. The combat is incredibly fast-paced, combining traditional gunplay with magical vigors and the ability to ride skyline rails high above the battlefield like a chaotic roller coaster. Plus, that mind-bending ending is still just as wild today as it was years ago, making it an essential pickup for anyone who loves a great narrative shooter. Stepping onto the podium at number 3, we have an absolute banger of an action game that is hitting a brand new historical low price on Steam. Devil May Cry 5 has been slapped with a massive 85% off discount, meaning you can get one of the slickest, most satisfying character action games ever created for a measly $4.49. That is honestly an insane value for a game that features 3 completely distinct playable characters, and legendary metal soundtrack that dynamically changes based on how well you're pulling off combos and some of the over-the-top cutscenes you'll ever see. Dante and Nero have never felt better to play, and the PC optimization on Capcom's RE engine means it runs buttery smooth even on modest setups. If you want to feel like an absolute styling god for less than the price of a fast food burger, I'm completely in. Next up at number 2, we have a city builder that doesn't want you to feel happy, it wants you to feel stressed, cold, and morally compromised. The original Frostpunk is currently sitting at a staggering 90% off, which drops the entry fee down to an unbelievable $2.99. In this game, the world has completely frozen over, and you are the leader of the last remaining city on Earth, built around a massive, heat-generating coal furnace. It is a brutal survival strategy game where you have to constantly manage your coal supplies, food rations, and the hope of your citizens. You will be forced to make incredibly dark political decisions, like signing laws to put children to work in the mines or putting sawdust in the food just to keep everyone alive for one more day. It's bleak, it's gripping, and for $3, it offers some of the tightest strategy gameplay you can find on Steam. And finally, coming in at the number 1 spot, we have a brilliant piece of psychological horror that dropped just a couple of years ago from the masters of narrative atmosphere at the Chinese Room. Still Wakes the Deep is enjoying a massive 75% daily deal discount, bringing it down to $8.74. You play as a Scottish worker trapped on a remote, crumbling oil rig in the middle of a violent North Sea storm in 1975. Things go from bad to absolutely horrific when the drill unearths a terrifying Lovecraftian entity that begins mutating the crew and tearing the rig apart. There are no guns here. You have to run, climb, and hide through flooding corridors while listening to the bone-chilling sound design of creaking metal and distant, distorted screams. The voice acting is incredibly grounded and natural, making the isolation and panic feel intensely real. It's a masterclass in linear, story-driven horror, and at under $9, it is the absolute must-buy deal of the week. Alright guys, that is going to wrap it up for our list of the biggest Steam sales you need to jump on right now before these timers run out. Which one of these are you adding to your library first? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, do us a huge favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on any of our gaming deep dives or deal roundups. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.